Welcome back. We have Dr. LaTanya White. She's going to be talking to us again today about the whole diversity strategy of what's going on in the government right now. She's going to be talking to us about how we can combat against that so that we can be better and do better. This is going to be something that you really want to pay attention to, especially if you are a business owner, because it really affects you as a business owner. So, Dr. LaTanya White, welcome back. Let's have that discussion. I'm super excited and let's get into it.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you again for sharing your space, sharing your platform, especially, for the work that there's so much work that we have to do. Kind of speaking along the lines of diversity, equity, and inclusion, when we think about the work that civil rights leaders have literally lived and died for, and how in the just since I think it was January, so I was reading the Q3 report from the Congressional Black Caucus, which lays out the activities that they've been focused on just in like a specific quarter, some of the issues and the barriers that they've been facing. And on the first few pages, the chair, which is Representative Stephen Horsford out of Nevada, he talks about those lawsuits, the overturning of affirmative action, which almost really created this domino effect. So with the overturning of affirmative action, now we see where the Fearless Fund, right? They've been coming under suit. So Representative Horsford in this Q3 report talks about I think there are 13 conservative attorney generals, Republican attorney generals, that sent letters to Fortune 100 companies that basically told them to pull in the reins on their DEI spending. So this has been...
That's going to affect us big time, because if they do it, then the government follows suit.
Exactly. And so, you led in with, if you're a business owner, this affects you. Let's talk about supplier diversity, right?
Right.
So if you are a minority business owner and a business owner from a socially or economically disadvantaged community, or historically under all the terms, right? Basically, if you Black or brown, like, let's be for real. If there are Republican attorney generals who have collectively gone to leaders in business and industry and said, pull back the reins on your DEI spending, that affects us, because that means they're not going to put as much money into their supplier diversity outreach programs. They're not going to set aside as much money for minority business minority and women business owners to secure contracts with these private companies. We're not talking about like public dollars. We're talking about private companies that they are basically managing the puppet strings on, and that affects our access to wealth building opportunities. So
I have a question to ask you, because when George Floyd died, we had a flood of people doing
$50 billion.
So what's happening to that money? Is it being dried up? Is it being taken away? What's happening to that?
Those were so that was I think the Washington Post reported on that earlier may have been in 2022. Those were pledges. They just said, we're going to set aside, we're going to earmark this money for advancing racial equity. That's the same way that there's $1 trillion in government contracts that are being held up because of the bottleneck in the different systems in the government contracting process. The money's set aside. They have the money. It's about dispersing the money, right? So those were pledges that had not necessarily been dispersed at the value of $50 billion.
Wow. So we didn't even, it's there, but we haven't seen none of it pretty much.
Yeah. And they don't have to spend it. It's not like it's not like they got to pay it like they pay taxes. Exactly. That was just something that somebody out of the kindness of their heart
went on television to make look good. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, and that's not to say that every organization was malicious or opportunistic or performative, but the numbers speak for themselves, right? There is no real significant, substantial, or sustainable advancement in diversity, equity, and inclusion since the murder of George Floyd. And there are corporate representatives that will admit to that.
Hmm. Okay. So continue to what you were talking about. I apologize.
No worries. See, we need this dialogue because I could go off on these tangents. But so the third quarter report, Congressional Black Caucus, we also talked a little bit about the advocacy strategy. So I sent you a picture of the book, Catrice. I'll still have to find maybe an Amazon link to add to the transcript or show notes. But Chanya Johnson is the chief of staff for Representative Troy Carter out of Louisiana. So I know you close to Louisiana. You should have some listeners in Louisiana. Like really, really be tuning in. If you're on LinkedIn, connect with her on LinkedIn because she is a powerhouse of information. And when I say she gave us, like, ran down the steps to advocate and really like schooled us, right? Like advocacy is not something you do one time a year. It's something that you do on a consistent, regular basis.
And what's the name of the book one more time, just so that I can publish it up here?
The title is Access Granted, 5-Minute Advocate. Get in, get out, and get results.
Because I mean, that is something that we need to have discussion about for real. Because a lot of us, we think that. So I've been dealing with a lot of clients right now that have been asking me the question, how do you get a chance to get a hold of the government spending that they do, the contracts, and they, we need to get the contract, need to get the contracts. Well, it's really hard getting a contract. Signing up with SBA alone has been crazy. If you see all the stuff that you have to go through to sign up with SBA, it is no joke. And it's designed specifically to make sure, because most Black people don't make the money that they're asking you to make, or they don't tell you how to set up your funding like you're supposed to have your funding set up, or they don't tell you how to do all the paperwork like you're supposed to. And I've called and I've gone through this over and over and over again, asking specific, I'll ask a specific question and I will get a roundabout answer.
So that's a similar experience that a lot of people have. What I found, so I recently got my certification as a woman-owned small business from the Women's Business Enterprise National Council, or WeBank. WeBank has a relationship with the Small Business Administration, or with the SBA, where my application through WeBank for a woman-owned small business, I can also elect to get a certification as an economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business, or what they call an ED-WASB. Right. So to your point, right, signing up for the SBA, it really is about what is your end goal. So I don't think I knew enough about what I even wanted the certification for to be prepared to go into the application process. Now, it's been a year, I done gone through the hoops, but that's on me. I can't necessarily say that it was because of the person at WeBank or the people at SBA or this, because that SBA agent got me together quickly about what I did not have, the documentation I needed to provide. And I looked at the list, Catrice, and it was just immediate overwhelm. I was like, I don't have the capacity to even go through, like, I swear if I printed out the list, it was maybe 4 pages, but there were 12 things. And and even for everything, he was like, in order to submit this, you need this. So he gave me everything I needed, but I, as a solo founder, a entrepreneur building my business from the ground up, a single parent, I ain't had a bandwidth, but I also did not have the end result in mind. Like I didn't have enough knowledge about building the bandwidth, getting the capacity, hiring an intern to say, no, this is so important that I need to push through. I need to reprioritize some of the things I'm doing now so that I could focus on getting this economically disadvantaged women-owned small business certification. So it is a lot, but I think a lot of it is in our foundational beginnings of how we start businesses, usually as solo founders out of necessity. It's like, I'm just out here trying to make it. I don't even have enough foresight to think about how I should set up my operating procedures, my profit and loss state. I don't even have the bandwidth to think about those things. I'm just trying to make sure I keep these lights on.
That makes sense. And that's a lot of people.
Lemonade Stand Boot Camp, a summer camp for African American youth that provides the tools needed to become financially literate. It's proven that when African Americans have the tools needed to become financially stable, they are more likely to invest in their future. A group of Black business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals have come together with the goal to increase the knowledge and to improve the mindset of African Americans. And we are starting with our youth by educating, encouraging, and empowering them with the knowledge needed to build a legacy and become financially free business owners. If you would like to contribute as a volunteer, sponsor, or by simply donating, please visit www.lemonadestandbootcamp.com or call 850-361-8829. That's 850-361-8829 for more information. Be a part of the solution. Be the bootstraps. Contact us today.
Hey, tribe, come join the largest Black business directory on the Gulf Coast. Join Bantu Cola, where we advertise, buy, and advocate for Black businesses. So sign your business up today at BANTUCOLA.com, BantuCola.com. Bantu Cola, be Black, buy Black, think Black.
No way.